What's up, I'm Brian here doing another video, and yes, I know I was taking a sabbatical, but I said I'm not going to back off completely, because if there's news I want to talk about, then I'm going to talk about it, and here's some of that news that I want to talk about. So just out of nowhere, on the Walmart website, we've got our first look at the third wave of the Deluxe retro figures that are based on the original Minibots. We've got Outback, and we've got a brand new mold for Wheelie. Now, that doesn't mean that Outback is just a recycled mold completely. Of course, it's going to take the 86 Brawn mold and then change it up. It's going to give it a new head. But I'm actually surprised with what else they were able to do as far as remolding, because the weapon seems to be different. The original toy for Outback had this almost like more like a rocket launcher. It actually kind of looked like Megatron's gun, just reshaped a little bit. And so they took the pistol, they took the scale of the pistol, and decide to change it up. So that's going to be a brand new mold. Everything else from the car mode, from what I can see, is the same thing as the 86 Brawn. Now, I gotta point out, I do love the Legends Outback that I got from Power of the Primes. I think he's pretty cool. Actually, I like Outback in general, but the 86 Brawn made me excited for eventually what they would do for the Outback figure, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. It's that bright tan, it's got that little bit of brown at the front. I'm not going to go too much into the sculpting, but you got the Autobot symbol on the side there, you got the spare wheel that can pop off, and then on the hood, there's some nice detailing. There's these lines on the black part, which I thought was kind of like a nice retro treat to the overall design. And then taking a look at the robot mode, there is more remolding going on here, but it's that classic tan and brown that I absolutely love. I like the idea of Outback. I like hearing this voice because it's the Australian voice. But I love the silver face with the blue sunglasses or aviators. That looks very nice. That's very classic to Outback. Of course, even this version has that. But what they decided to resculpt was the chest. Because if you look at the original toys for Outback and Brawn and you compare them, it's not only the head that's different, it's the entire chest because it's all one piece. So they decide to incorporate that and not just repaint what already exists. So you get that digital printing on the chest that kind of looks like Simon Says, so it's got the silver and the blue, but then the pecs are properly sculpted to actually look like pecs. He actually looks more like he's got a belt, which I thought was kind of neat. Also, with the head sculpt, it's not just the head itself. You got some brown that kind of surrounds it, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. It kind of makes him look like he's got a big hairdo, like he just walked out of the rain and it's just poof. But yeah, I'm still thrilled that we're finally getting Outback, and it's going to be a Walmart exclusive. So if you have a Walmart and it's good with exclusives, guess what? Here you go. There's the packaging. You can see Outback on the side. So very thrilled about that. But then they also decide to announce Wheelie. So this is going to be a brand new mold, brand new sculpt. And it's not going to be the core class figure. It's not even just an upscaled version of it, but it does take inspiration. So I do have the 86 version of Wheelie, and I think he's fine, but when you put him next to all the other Minibots right now, he's definitely out of place because everyone is trying to be a deluxe, and he's a core class figure. So when I saw this, I was thrilled that finally we're going to get a Wheelie in that scale. Not that I need him in that scale because it does work for the SS86 line, but I really wanted the Minibots to kind of coexist. So the alt mode looks pretty good. I like the pointed front and how it just looks a little more sharper. It looks a little more clean. And then you've got different colors of yellow and orange throughout, which I think is managed okay. It's a little all over the place in some areas, but I think it's fine. Maybe it's the lighting of this image because some of the light orange just looks a little more yellow. I do like the bubbly cockpit with the light gray and the dark gray. I kind of wish the wheels were a little darker, but whatever. And also, he does come with the slingshot that plugs underneath. You could take that off, but I do like how that's actually incorporated with the car. It's probably not some sort of laser, but at least it's placed somewhere, you know? With the core class, I think it was placed nicely on the back, although it does slip off often. But I think it was it the Jazz mold that just kind of had it to the side? I could be wrong about that. But, yeah, you could also see, I think that's the feet sticking out of the back, but it's still consistent with the overall toy. And then taking a look at the robot mode. Okay, so it wasn't the feet. It probably was the hips or something. I don't know. Taking a look at the robot mode. So the colors are, again, a little more all over the place. You got the orange in the arms, but it also does break up in chunks because you've got the orange pants, which I feel like it needs gray kneecaps. But this is going for the toy deco. So it's not going for the original cartoon. So you're going to see some weird choices of the gray, the light orange, and then the, more saturated orange at the bottom there. I think the legs do look clean, although you do have the tires sticking out of the side. But my big problem with the overall toy is the hips. They look way too wide for this figure, especially in this image. Maybe in hand it's not as bad because I saw the other pose for Wheelie and it seemed okay. But yeah, the hips are just kind of throwing me off. I do like the fact that it's got the orange face. I like that it's got the little cap on top there, which is referenced by that little lid that would open up on the original toy and reveal his face. And yeah, I like the fact that we're getting a deluxe class Wheelie, but I could also imagine that this Wheelie is going to be repainted into the cartoon deco down the road, because I don't feel like they're just going to do this and nothing else. So maybe they'll do that again in Studio Series, because Studio Series is retreading a lot of stuff. But yeah, I'm curious to see what else they could do for this retro Minibot line. I personally would like to see what they would do, I don't know, with Cosmos. I know that we're getting Swerve, Tailgate, and Powerglide in the main line, which means that we're all just about done with these deluxe class Minibots that started, I think, way back in Kingdom with the Warpath figure. So I'm pretty thrilled about that. I also know that we're getting an SS86 Cliffjumper, but yeah, with that out of the way, I've been rambling for too long now about 2 Minibots, but I do like Minibots. So with that out of the way, what do you guys think? Comment below, let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.